Now that we kind of understand the anatomy of a template, we need to go and look at how to actually build the template. So if we go back to the chart here, you go to the green menu, admin page, and you'll see in this bottom section a part that says dictation templates. So in this box, all these links are things that have to do with templates and how to make them work. We're going to start kind of backwards so that so I can show you a little bit of how it all pieces together at the end, because I think it would help to understand that in order to do the first parts of it. So the dictation template groups, these are groups of templates. So for instance, procedures, right now there's only 2 procedures. There's 2 procedure templates in the procedure template group, one for cervical ESI, one for SI joint injection. Then the templates themselves, they're all grouped. Well, they're not grouped at all right now. So these are all the templates that we have. And let's say we've got a cervical ESI here, and this is what it looks like. We've got here's the different segments in the template, and here's the different groups that the segments are in that we selected from. And when we build a template, you select a segment group, a grouping of segments. So let's say a physical exam group. You click on add, and then there's all the different physical exam sections. So the grouping is important because it helps you to choose the actual segment that you want in your note. And of course there's a sort order here as well for how it appears in these checkboxes here. That's what these numbers mean here. And this is just going to be a really quick overview of how this works. So then you have the segment groups, of course, which we just went over. So for instance, I just had the physical exam, and then here's all the different segments in the physical exam group. And then that boils down to the different dictation segments. And here's all the segments that are built. And you can see here when it says individual segments in set, that means what group it's in. So here's the group is here, segment groups. It's all these ones here in the physical exam group, but they're all different sections. And then there's one other kind of part to it. They're called segment titles. This is different than the segment name. And the titles have to do with what type of segment it is. So you might have 2 or 3 templates that have, for instance, a chief complaint in the template, but you don't want the same exact chief complaint in each one of those templates. So you'd have 3 different segments that have to do with chief complaints that you would put in those 3 different templates, but you would want the same title, chief complaint, over each one of those segments. So this is what that page looks like, and here's the section title. This is what it'll look like in the note with any segment that has this title. This will appear there, and you can make it bold or italic. And in addition, you can keywords. So when we analyze notes later on, when I teach how to do that, the segment title will be thoroughly used for that. And so it's important to know the difference between the segment name and the segment title. The title has different uses than the name does. The name just kind of helps you to determine which one it is. So we'll go into a segment now, and we'll build a new segment. I guess first we'll go over this list here and kind of show you how this works. So this is a segment set name. So obviously, I mean, it's the name that you put for whatever segment set you've built. This list sort order is a numerical order in which it appears in this list when we're looking at this page. The note sort order is a little bit different. It's the sort order numerically that it will appear in the note. So for instance, in this note that we just built with Larry, we got general appearance first and physical exam heart second. That's because the general appearance has a sort order of 350, and the heart vascular has a sort order of 360. So in the note, general appearance numerically comes before the heart, and so it will appear, the 2 sections, general appearance will appear before the physical exam heart. Individual segments in set, this is the title that is associated with the actual segment. And then it shows you also all the templates that are using that segment, and then what group that segment is in. So that's how this page works. So we're going to add another segment set. So we move down here to the bottom, click on add another segment set. We'll call it test segment. And for the listing, I kind of want it just right at the top so I can get rid of it later. we'll give sort of -10 because that comes before everything. Now we can either make this segment exactly like another segment by clicking on this make items like other segment set, but we don't want to do that. We're just going to add a new section, and so this is what this looks like. So this section is going to be called test segment. This is what will appear in the actual checkboxes here. Well, this is, yeah, right here. This is the name. So right here, this is what's going to show up. So instead of general appearance, it will say test segment. And then the section text, this is what text I want to show up in the note. So for instance, if I wanted a title in there that wasn't bold or italicized and wasn't the same as any other segment that I designate as a test segment title, I could put it here. I'll just say this is a test segment. And so I'll show you how that comes into play once we populate this. This box right here is for the title. And so these are all the different titles that there are available. We're just going to make it one of these titles. We'll say it's a review of systems, just for fun. And we're automatically going to have this checked. So this section will automatically be a section that's included unless we uncheck this box in these things. So if we uncheck this box here, now this general appearance section won't be used, but by default it is checked. And then we start building out these different options. So here's a button here that says add heading. So we click on add heading and this green box shows up, and these headings are the equivalent of this box right here, appearance, distress, age. And so there's a heading, and then underneath the heading there's what we call line items. So this heading will be ice cream flavors. And the heading text will be the patient's favorite ice cream flavor is :space. So this is what will appear in the checkbox. So just checkbox, so well, or appearance, distress. Under the checkbox, it will say ice cream flavor, because that's the heading title, ice cream flavors. And then the heading text, so this is what it will appear in the note. It will say over here, patient's favorite ice cream flavor is. And then we can say, give different options. So we'll say hit show line items here and add line item. And under line item, we'll say, and we can add as many as we want. Let's say we add 4. Vanilla. And the item text we want in the note is vanilla ice cream is vanilla. So we just do vanilla, and that would be great. Also, if you put a comma space at the end, then if you don't add anything else, then the comma space will automatically be taken out of the text in the note, so a random comma won't be there. But if you want to select more than one of these things, so it says the patient's favorite ice cream flavor is vanilla and chocolate, and you mark both of these, then it'll say vanilla, comma, chocolate, and then if you don't add anything after this, then the comma will be removed and it won't be there anymore. So we have vanilla, we have chocolate as 2 options, and we could say like Neapolitan, and instead of just saying Neapolitan, we'll say chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla ice and vanilla all together. So in the checkboxes here, one of these things will say vanilla, one will say chocolate, one will say Neapolitan, and when you have them checked, one will say vanilla, because we have vanilla as the item text, that will show up in the note, it'll just say vanilla, and same thing with the chocolate. But if we select the Neapolitan box, it will say in the note chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla, rather than just Neapolitan. And then we could also say like Rocky Road with marshmallows, or we could just say Rocky Road. And here we could say like Rocky Road with marshmallows and chocolate chips because they are delicious, or whatever. And then we also need to decide, which one of these are default checked, because there's no one answer that's probably, for women it'll probably be chocolate. So let's say we just automatically mark chocolate. Perfect. So when we show up the note, I'll show you in just a minute. So let's say But we also want to select, so here's the sort order for the actual note. Right now it's a 0, so it'll appear right at the top because numerically 0 comes before everything else. But let's say we want it a little bit lower, after the chief complaint, which sort order is 10, which you just kind of have to memorize or look it up what sort order it is. And we'll say it's a 40 is the sort order. So then we save the changes, and we see that test segment is sort order -10, so it's right at the top of the list, and sort order is 40. So it will come after the chief complaint because that's sort order 1. It will come after the history of present illness because that's 11, but it will come before the little man. And I will do the rest of this in another video. So this video, mostly just to recap, was to show you how kind of a brief overview of how a template is created, and then in a little bit more detail how a segment set is created using this this program right here.